Welcome back to another Mikey Rips video on products and purchases. My goal with this specific video was originally tailored towards just friends and family and my network, since I can explain what I've been to in one video way better than I could in a phone call or written conversation. But I quickly realized doing this as more of a vlog format instead of a how-to format should help me connect with more people on YouTube. Therefore, this video is for anyone thinking about hopping into the NFT space to get some level 1 questions answered, and then hopefully start a meaningful dialogue in the YouTube comment section below, where I'll give a same-day response. Before we get started, make sure you follow me on Twitter for more up-to-date and in-the-moment conversations around this revolutionary technology, instead of just sitting on the sidelines watching videos and not doing anything afterwards. First things first, I used to think NFTs were a fad at best, or scams in general, but have quickly realized there is so much going on beneath the surface of some of these JPEG photos. Therefore, the 3 North Stars of this video is to 1, get you comfortable enough to participate in some crypto and NFT communities, 2, have a lower likelihood of making missteps along the way like I initially did, and 3, help you understand that even if you make a mistake buying 1 or 2 crappy NFTs, that does not mean they're all scams, nor are NFTs only for the rich and famous. Luckily, I learned from a few failures, which I'll share, and I ultimately developed my own educated gut feeling on what I could do to grow alongside NFT's flourishing digital community. My hope is that sharing my experiences of what I've learned over the last several months from diving headfirst into the NFT space will hopefully save you additional time, since I basically had to research everything I know from joining many discussion groups from various communities and wanted to compile as much as I could into one video. Now, before we get directly into the topic of NFTs, to even discuss them, I want to make sure everyone watching has a baseline understanding of what cryptocurrency is as an idea that everyone can see in their own minds, regardless of how tech savvy they are. The first thing you need to know is you cannot directly buy NFTs with any traditional version of money, such as the US dollar. Quick disclaimer to all my techies out there, again, this first few minutes of this video is aimed to the 50 to 70% who are just getting started into crypto and NFTs, and is simply wondering, Mike, how would I even buy an NFT? After we touch on the how, we'll get right into the who and why. Let's get started. Hopefully everyone watching has had the luxury of traveling somewhere outside the United States. No worries if you haven't, I'll quickly explain. When you're traveling to another country that does not accept US dollars as a direct form of payment, you wouldn't try to convince each local merchant that the almighty US dollar is king and should be accepted. You would go to an exchange and simply convert your US dollars to the local equivalent form of payment. Now think of cryptocurrency as an online-only form of payment that will eventually remove the need to do most, if not all, currency conversions, regardless of where or who you are buying from. Right now, there are a lot of cryptocurrencies, but I believe only a few will be used in the new era of the internet dubbed as Web 3.0. If we're lucky, there will eventually become a gold standard crypto choice that will be used for most daily transactions, because when your experiences are 100% virtual, you wouldn't want a financial system tied to specific governments or banks like what we know it as today. For a quick comparison, there's roughly 180 modern-day currencies recognized by the United Nations, which is a very stark contrast to the roughly 18,000 cryptocurrencies as of March 2022. But don't let me lose you with all those numbers. Let's pause for some quick Q&A. Number 1, your first question probably is, why are there so many cryptocurrencies? 18,000, god dang. That's simply because cryptocurrencies aren't regulated yet, and though that will likely change in the near future, with no guardrails, that creates a lot of good and a lot of bad business opportunities. Good meaning that there will be opportunities that make people some serious returns if you know what to look for, but the bad is that literally anyone can go start their own cryptocurrency or their own NFT in the matter of literally less than 1 day. So you'll want to be extra careful to research the team behind every NFT project you like. Your second question is likely, how much am I going to have to spend to get some serious returns? Without getting too far ahead and without giving literal financial advice, it's worth stating now that the NFT community is coming into a new era where young, open-minded investors that I would imagine most get paid under 6 figures have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because there are big business minds such as the president of Billboard Music even stepping down from their successful long-standing corporate careers to spearhead NFT communities such as Doodles. I expect more Web 2.0 leaders to jump to Web 3.0 because we're at an evolutionary leapfrog next step moment, and not the next few years, but right now. Investing early in startups used to be a privilege only afforded to very wealthy people, such as venture capitalists from the TV show Shark Tank and people known as angel investors who would typically be putting $15,000 to $250,000 on the line. But in contrast, my ultimate goal and a lot of people's goals is to make $250,000 after only spending $15,000. So to be clear, I'm not suggesting anybody aim for or call themselves an angel investor because in the NFT world, that's not the goal. The goal is to invest in an NFT brand that you not only believe can succeed in bringing their vision to reality, but you should also deeply want to be a part of that brand's community regardless of all the highs and lows of its value. With that first Q&A done, back on the topic of cryptocurrencies, my personal thought is that Ethereum will be the primary currency for several reasons. But to clarify on all of this again, I am not giving financial advice and you should do your own research before buying anything mentioned on this video. Therefore, we'll just silently agree on Ethereum being more of a major player of sorts due to them being the most used cryptocurrency in the NFT space to date, and the fact that the creators are close to finishing an optimized version called Ethereum 2, coming possibly as soon as August 2022 that will merge with the original you can buy and use today. Pro tip, if what I just said worries you, it shouldn't. Everything I just said just means basically you're still early. Well, if you're watching this in 2022 and not 2023, that is. By the way, if you don't know how to create a crypto wallet, I will link the YouTube videos I used to 3 crypto wallets below so that after you finish this video, you can create at least the first 2, since different projects will often want you to use one of the 3 following digital wallets to transfer your crypto through. Number 1 being MetaMask, number 2 being Coinbase, and a newer one, number 3 being Phantom, but Phantom does not use Ethereum. Phantom only uses the Solana cryptocurrency, which tends to have lower quality NFT projects sometimes, but I did find one specific product that's on my list of top 5 NFTs that I'll share at the end, and I'm glad I created a wallet before they did a very limited release, one day only sale for their NFT real estate. Now moving on to what an NFT is. An NFT by definition is a non-fungible token living on a blockchain. A blockchain is defined as a shared immutable ledger that facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets in a business network. To dumb that down, you're essentially purchasing an asset that can be 1, tangible, such as a house, a car, cash, or land, or intangible, such as intellectual property, patents, copyrights, and branding. To further explain, an NFT is so much more than the NBA using them as a ticket you can scan into a game, and can have even more intrinsic value than any piece of art that people hang on their walls, because an NFT cannot be 2 things. It cannot be plagiarized like a handwritten signature, and it cannot be as easily stolen like a physical wallet. Importantly, really good NFTs are starting to become at least one of these 3 things: a fundamental building block for a global digital marketplace. Number 2, a strong alternative to selling shares of a company for funding what is essentially a small startup business. And 3, what most people see NFTs as, which is a collectible, tradable item for games that are almost immediately recognizable, unique pieces of art. You're probably wondering, how will I know a really good NFT when I see one? What a lot of people look for is called blue chip NFTs. And blue chip NFTs are 1, well-known, 2, established, 3, relatively stable, or as stable as they could be in this market, 4, considered to be a good long-term investment, and 5, the building block from which the next generation of entrepreneurs are creating the next Disney, Sony, Marvel, etc., all on new marketplaces that are built around the idea of community-based growth. The hope is that the rate that the company's branding grows is the same rate an investor community's net worth could potentially grow, while everyone enjoys whatever real-life experience or virtual consumer good is being copywritten into the NFT you now own. To put that into perspective, the reason I think this is better than owning a piece of stock in a company is that in some cases, such as Artifact's Monolith collaboration that just dropped on Earth Day with Nike, all NFT holders of that project literally received for free the newest, most exclusive product that a company like Nike that's been around since 1964 has ever released. Yes, this shoe will have vials that you can plug into the shoe, and it will display one of one different designs that, like that, are all on this same shoe. Now, I wasn't fortunate enough to get that Artifact NFT before its price ballooned out of my budget, but I want to highlight how important it is to do your research before making rash decisions in the NFT space. Artifact's Nike NFT price wavered a staggering 4 Ethereum to 10 Ethereum in the matter of 1 hour, which is mind-bogglingly $8,000 to $20,000 worth of a swing, since 1 Ethereum equals roughly $2,000. Some people who got the Artifact NFT simply didn't even understand what it is that they even received, and it would be very hard to know without following their Twitter closely. So word to the wise, if you haven't already created one, you're gonna need to get a Twitter to keep up with the pace of any NFT you buy. But before you get lost on Twitter, the biggest question I want every person to answer themselves now is, am I building an NFT portfolio, or do I see myself as just an art collector? That's the question I had to answer myself by participating, failing, and learning, then evolved into shopping around just from my gut feeling, and now I only really choose NFTs only after I've Google and or LinkedIn searched the creators to see what reputable company the founder and or their team has worked with in the past. It's pivotal that you do that research before you ever buy into a project, then do even more extra research to determine, is this something I would enjoy being a part of, and commit to following the progress on at least a weekly, if not daily basis. Lastly, it's also best to get a chance to interact or at least hear from the project founder directly via an AMA, Ask Me Anything, on a Twitter Spaces conversation, which is essentially a live audio conference call of sorts. If in that moment you feel it in your gut that the NFT creator and their team is hungry to revolutionize the entire internet to Web 3.0 and truly believe in what they're saying will happen, then that's a good sign that you might be an early adopter of something that you could believe in long enough to see it succeed. For now, my best guess is that until Meta, formerly Facebook, brings to market their promise of a new dawn of the internet and starts to make a mind-numbing 50% off of every transaction, this next 1 to 2 years will be a major turning point you don't want to look back on and nervously laugh at. Okay, so what does this all mean? NFTs started as just art, but they are quickly becoming a sign of power and so much more. Visually speaking, there are 2 types of NFTs. There's pixelated art, show you a video of the Moonbird. Then there's the hyper-realistic, sometimes 3D animated NFT that is simply just better looking, less pixelated art. I'll show you an Invisible Friends, which I didn't get into Invisible Friends before it blew up. I simply bought this hoodie, which I love the look and feel of, but really got it just to enter their raffle for a chance to mint their NFT for the original price of 0.25 Ethereum. However, I just recently bought an Imaginaries one NFT that I personally believe has the holy grail of uniqueness that doesn't have any exclusionary traits to my knowledge, meaning like they don't have weapons or anything with double meanings that could make the Ions, as we're called, the safest partner for a Web 2.0 company like Disney to potentially buy. So I say that not to confuse you, but quite honestly to help you from getting confused. You can easily look at all these NFTs and start to become biased on just the art alone. But that often is just an initial attraction to lure people into wanting to explore what a project is actually about. To explain further, what you need to literally do is go to an NFT project's website and or Discord channel, look for a roadmap, and decide for yourself, what utility does this serve that would make it worth my couple $1,000s? And by the way, when I first heard the word utility thrown around a bajillion times, I wondered, what does my electric bill have to do with the NFTs? But now I know utility is actually meaning what use cases will apply to it, and the better the utility, the more profitable it may become. So, final disclaimer here, I'm not saying buying my top 5 NFTs will make you profits. You still need to do your own research. But let's dive into my top 5 NFTs. Let me start by saying that not every NFT is going to have the right people behind it to be able to make their claimed vision come to reality. And some won't have a roadmap at all, with no future utility purpose other than just saying, I own this one of a kind photo. So to be clear, not all NFTs are created equal, which is probably why there are a lot of people with a lot of money that are sleeping on NFTs altogether, even though they shouldn't. However, I understand there's people who also may not have the best living situation right now that know it's not best to even risk $500, let alone $2,000 on an unproven asset. To those of you who have made it this far and are simply here to learn, I salute you, and I thank you for watching just to get educated. If you're like me though, I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck and am willing to risk a vacation or two worth of money to partake in a few high-risk, high-reward NFTs. The earliest reference point of a high-risk, high-reward NFT that I don't own, by the way, is important to acknowledge, and it's Bored Ape Yacht Club, who paved the way for where NFTs are today. Bored Ape Yacht Club, on the outside looking in, seems like it's all hyped due to the recent rush of famous celebrities like Justin Bieber posting their mutant apes on their Instagrams, but the fact is that Yuga Labs, the team behind Bored Ape Yacht Club, gets royalties from each Bored Ape secondary sale, and they are continually reinvesting that money back into themselves to create future better products and experiences, much like Tesla reinvests a large amount of revenue into making better cars, batteries, etc. instead of marketing. For example, Bored Ape Yacht Club did a in real life Ape Fest in 2021 for their NFT holders on a literal yacht, and now they have their own ape coin that will be used as their own currency in their own metaverse known as the Other Side. So if you feel like Bored Ape Yacht Club and all the apes that you've seen around, or them specifically, are a gimmick, know it is very much the opposite in their scenario. They're basically creating their own Apple ecosystem of sorts, and except for when they created a gas war, they are still the shining example of an NFT community that has created a ripple effect of NFT exploration that needs to be respected because it will only grow from here. But since I don't own a house yet and can't afford a Bored Ape, the first things I looked for in NFT projects were the following. One, I wanted to see, will this NFT I buy be a key to a future in real life or virtual experience? And will it guarantee me access to their future NFT spin-offs known as drops, or will I simply be put into a raffle for a giveaway? If I'm being offered merchandise, aka merch, the ability basically to buy clothes with their logos on it, or their ability to be put into a raffle, and that's it, then that is a waste of my time, since I'm not here to just try paying affiliate marketing for every NFT I own. The second thing I look for is confirming whether they have a reputable Twitter, Instagram, and Discord account. Not every successful NFT will have all three, but that's something that I look for to confirm, okay, is there a legitimate documented team that I can track, who I believe might be able to pull off whatever the roadmap is, enough so that I am personally willing to commit on average between 0.15 Ethereum to 1 whole Ethereum for each NFT I mint, which would be anywhere from $300 to $2,000. So how do you choose an NFT community that's right for you? Don't get caught up in the hype. I researched many NFTs before I landed on my top 5, but before I discuss those, I need to briefly touch on ones I didn't buy. One of the most promising ones I could have afforded but I didn't was Super Plastic NFTs. I liked their visuals on their Super Plastic NFTs, their roadmap of partnering with Gucci, which by the way, their Super Gucci NFT was easily selling for double the mint price within 24 hours as well. I also liked their plan to open physical stores for people to learn about the brand in person in New York and Miami, and they even planned a Ferrari giveaway to one person. And I thought their coolest roadmap was their plan to give some lucky Super Plastic NFT holders the opportunity to participate in the making of their real-life movie in Hollywood. Do you see where I'm going with this? Even with all those positives, which again, in my mind, giveaways to one person is not a positive for a whole community, but either way, I'm not trying to buy a futuristic lottery ticket. In all seriousness, I also didn't like the fact their overall theme is very DRUG centric. Spell that out. For example, when minting their NFTs, they literally use photos of PILLS and that's just not really who I am, so I opted out of buying them. You're probably thinking, why is he blabbing on about what he didn't get? I'm sharing that to try and help confirm that you should not fall prey to FOMO, fear of missing out, on any of these projects. Even if there's only one thing about an NFT that doesn't resonate with you, don't buy it. Be picky. The Super Plastic project is still alive to this day as of May 2022, and it seems Paris Hilton, of all people, is keeping it afloat, interestingly enough. But all of their projects and ideas are not something that would actually get me out of bed and excited to see what the team is working on, so I never bought one. It's also worth mentioning, the movie giveaway was the main thing I cared about, and funny enough, it was removed from the roadmap, which further proves my point. Don't buy an NFT based on supposed giveaways to just one person. Now, that's just one example I wish success to, even though I couldn't personally identify with them, and I researched many more for weeks following, including Rowdy Society, which tanked, the Hype Bears, which tanked, and many more that at first seemed promising at the time, but I cannot overstate enough how skeptical you need to be before buying any NFT that is being heavily promoted by celebrities that don't actively participate in NFT communities, especially if it's being promoted on an Instagram stories post that's only visible for 24 hours. That is typically signs of a team of people that don't know the difference between looking for a temporary sponsor versus a long-standing partnership that can stand the test of time. I'm not saying it's impossible for there to be honest backing or NFT projects from celebrities. Snoop Dogg is living proof of what an honest backing looks like from someone who is actively trying to create something that will stick for longer than a quick flip. But you have to be prepared to spot the difference between what is a true passion project from a famous celebrity versus a quick promotional check someone got paid to go say, go to so-and-so's Discord right now and mint XYZ NFT with no informative reason as to why you would want to actually do that. So now that I've given you a good baseline, it's time for the main event, my top 5 NFTs. What really struck me about the NFTs in my top 5 is their AMAs, their Ask Me Anythings, where holders can raise their hand and speak freely in front of thousands of other followers. I personally have worked in sales my entire adult life, and I know firsthand how impactful the power of networking is. Therefore, if a team of entrepreneurs can't handle being badmouthed a little bit in an open forum, and trust me, there's always at least one person who leaves it all out there on those virtual meetings, they're not maybe somebody that I trust will have the grit and polish to secure business partnerships behind closed doors. It's not always what you know, but more so who you know and how you go about swinging mutual arrangements with those people. I specifically didn't want to join a community of just hype since I'm not looking for a quick flip, and I can't stand when I go into a Discord full of keyboard warriors or people who I feel like you're in a chat room full of AI bots that have nothing better to do all day. I knew to look for better, and that is why I ended up with these top 5. So here it is. Number 1, Ape. Ape has the highest potential by far to become a blue chip project that you can still get in early on. This is partially due to Ape's many partners, and their top 3 are Coinbase, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the United States by trading volume, High Snobiety, which is a leader in the space of culture, streetwear, and luxury with over 4 million followers on Instagram and over 300,000 followers on Twitter. And most recently, Caduceus, which I may be saying wrong, but which has spent the last 3 years creating robust protocols for future metaverse development and could very well set the benchmark for sustainable cross-project tokens that have the required fast transaction speeds and super low gas fees. The Ape team has also built out a robust set of ongoing community-driven meetings, events, and online interactions for camaraderie to manifest, specifically also NFT week coming up in New York City here shortly in the next month. I truly feel this NFT project is a potential 50 plus Ethereum possible project, and that I am blessed to have gotten in after its highest high came down a bit, and we're now near the bottom of its current lowest low until the entire market bounces back. Ape just basically needs to deliver on its promises through the rest of the year leading up to their Ape Walk that I believe could be akin to Artifact's Monolith moment. By the way, before everyone thinks I'm discussing something as expensive as a Bored Ape, to be clear, this has no relation to the Bored Ape Yacht Club community and has similar potential. The floor price for an Ape again ape with an H, is actually just under 1 Ethereum, and the floor price for the trait, meaning visual characteristics, that I have is technically at a floor price of 5 Ethereum, meaning $10,000 for my specific rare haircut type equaling curls because they match mine. Though I have zero plans to ever sell it, and even if I did, then the 2.5 Ethereum, meaning 5,000 I paid, would be a potential resale value of an easily 2x profit as of right now. But people who got into Ape earlier than me for the lower mint price of 0.20 Ethereum, $600-ish, didn't have the benefit of knowing which visual traits theirs would have, since that is assigned at random when NFTs are first minted. But for those who are still holding, meaning they didn't sell yet, they are still technically at a potential 4 to 5x profit opportunity. Anyone who sold theirs recently likely either A, doesn't understand that 3 of Ape's very important partners will help with rapid future adoption, or B, some people simply needed to take small profits and buckle down on finances during these crazy times. Or C, they wanted to diversify their NFT portfolio due to FOMO, fear of missing out, from other new projects coming down the road. But spoiler, there will always be FOMO from other new projects coming down the road. So don't always go by that. I'm just simply never selling my ape myself, and I'd love to see the community grow. Number 2, Power.io. Power is what they're known as, and Power's goal is to empower a new wave of musical artists that will be fully funded by their fans instead of being funded and owned by one of the major record labels, since record labels typically take all the profits. They're definitely in a gray area with this project where I believe it could become either the 4th largest brand in the music industry outside of Sony, Universal, and Warner, or at the least it could become a Web 3.0 version of SoundCloud that will have more than enough money to sign their own artists and will be the first to market with a true NFT sale commission-based structure via their own app. Now that's not an easy feat and will take serious planning and execution to pull off even a modest version of their goal, but I'm still really bullish on how they have handled every single AMA, unwavering in their stance and commitment to the project, enough to convince me that the founder Mason might have literal ice in his veins and will be working on this for years to come and not letting it ever become a reg pull. Last but not least, the art for Power is by an award-winning level quality artist known by the name Semi Lacropoule, might be saying that wrong, but alongside his art director Edasius, might be saying that wrong, who has worked with well-known brands such as Puma. The floor price as of writing just right now is under 0.1 Ethereum, meaning $200. I minted 3 seeds originally, which you would mint a seed and then burn it to create the actual NFT. I did that for about $900. It's worth mentioning that all holders were airdropped mystery boxes from Power as a thank you in March of 2022, and they were originally at a 1 Ethereum price, which is $2,000, but has since shrunk to 0.01 Ethereum, so like $30. And my best guess is these will be used as tickets for their proposed future Power Party or Power Festival, and basically whoever sold at 1 Ethereum made off like bandits before the bear market. But as with all things in the NFT space, only time will tell, and I'll be very excited to go to whatever first festival of theirs happens in the US. Number 3, Antonym. For my 3rd place project, the first and biggest reason I even learned about them was because founder Ruben Cohen is a brand strategist with a global supply chain experience that was hopping into many different community AMAs, and I can't help but bet on somebody who has his level of commitment and polish, sharing his creation with as many virtual door-to-door encounters as he has. The conviction in his AMAs he comes with and the mastery he's shown on building partnerships for his brand before he ever even brought anything to market is on a Bored Ape Yacht Club level. He is truly ahead of his time on this one, and I hope for the sake of art, fashion, and culture that he never settles. I'm also very bullish on what having a Genesis product could mean if Antonym pulls off the goal of bridging the gap between digital collectibles and physical designer goods. Since it's not only just about the Antonym collectibles, they also aspire to build an eBay meets OpenSea of sorts, where you could theoretically mint an NFT, convert it into a physical product, and then also resell that physical NFT related product to someone else on the same crypto-based platform. The floor price as of writing this was 0.15 Ethereum, and I bought mine on the secondary market for 0.55 the first time, However, now that prices are under half that, I just recently bought 3 more at the current price to secure a medium-sized phygital, and I might even might get myself up to 20 antonyms NFTs to score a whopping 60-inch physical. I'm gonna put up a photo of that. Look at that, baby. My last 2 on my top 5 are my most risky plays, though, and I'll explain why I'm bullish on them nonetheless. My 4th place spot goes to Versus State, and this is one of the ones I'm most excited about in the near term, since it will be the first to convince me to get a MetaQuest headset, formerly known as Oculus Quest. The level of detail in their real estate villas and penthouses is truly mind-blowing and more realistic than any virtual space I've ever seen. To date, the founder and artists behind it have done the bare minimum of traditional marketing and have seemingly just been going around on a world tour to let designers and creatives experience it one by one as a proof of concept. And even Gary Vee seemed impressed and told them to keep going, so hey. A blessing from the Mecca Gary himself was enough to convince me that even though they don't have a Discord yet for NFT holders to communicate and collaborate, which is likely coming later in June, I'm very confident that this won't be a rug pull. The artist Vincent Foddemer is a world-renowned artist with 1.4 million followers on Instagram that created a reputable Solana-based NFT called Babalux that already collaborated with Snoop Dogg, so the team is known. I experienced a Oculus demo back in San Francisco years ago, by the way, before something similar was ever released to the public, and Versus State surpasses everything even Facebook itself helped create, so this product could end up being the flex of all flexes. The floor price as of writing was under the original 5 Solana pre-sale mint price, meaning $500. So I bought 3 left sitting on the floor recently for 2 to 3 Sol, which would be $200 to $300, which is in addition to the 2 I bought during the public mint of 8 Sol, so 800 each. So I've spent a little over 2,000 and wouldn't be surprised if this is the biggest return I get post-reveal. Now, my last and 5th and final is Alpha Kong's Club because of their very strong storytelling and their first-to-market tokenomics, which is either the most well-executed Ponzi scheme of all time or a project many people will all wish they had gotten into before the play-to-earn game comes out. Questions worth asking on this one. Have they doxed themselves yet? No. Apparently due to reasonable concern for their team's family and safety. Doesn't make the risk any less sus, but it's commendable. Have they shown any visuals for the game yet? No, but I just can't foresee this being a rug pull, meaning a lucrative scam like Pixelmon. Look it up if you're interested, because the story of Alpha Kongs, on the contrary, is just so good, and also their art is just so good, damn good. Is their communication, team branding, and execution on a godly-like level? Yes, yes, and yes, especially considering they technically beat Bored Ape Yacht Club to the punch on building out their tokenomics before anybody even got a glimpse of what the other side would be like with Bored Ape Yacht Club's ApeCoin. Overall, I'm willing to look past the usual runaway from non-doxed teams rule this once, due to their storytelling ability, like I said, being the most elaborate I've seen out of literally any NFT product, and I'm also hoping their claim of partnering with Ace Comic Con to create their own comic series will allow the AKC brand to grow into many different directions, and who knows, maybe even be a part of future Marvel films and media content once they've earned the right to secure that high level of a partnership. The floor price as of writing is roughly 0.3 Ethereum. I bought mine first for 0.48 Ethereum and have earned one additional Blue Banana Serum NFT, which is currently worth about 0.2 Ethereum. That will generate an Omega Kong, so it's like an additional NFT. And this project overall has allotted me an equivalent of even an additional $1,000 worth in alpha coins while staking my cons the past few weeks. So if it's not legit, hey, at least I've made something from it. But I really do, again, say do your own research on all of these. Don't want anybody to come back to me saying, hey, Mike, you told me this, you told me that. I'm doing this to grow the community, grow the overall awareness of NFTs. And now that you know my top 5, the question I'm sure you're dying to know is, how much money have you actually made so far? And the truth is, I haven't sold anything from my top 5 yet, so technically nothing, and that's by choice. I could have sold them, and I could have made all my money back, not lost out. I'm not going to count Versus State since they are extremely undervalued in my opinion right now, and they have barely put any energy into trying to persuade people to buy their product. But if I sold all of my Ethereum based NFTs and walked away right now, even that would have net me an additional $1,000, which quite honestly isn't much if I factor in the gas fees, which are typically $20 per every maybe one Ethereum $3,000 transaction. But however, I hope this truthful outline demonstrates that NFTs are by no means a get rich quick scheme, and you can also put a lot of money into several legitimate ones, and you're not as susceptible to just randomly losing it all as general skeptics think. That being said, it will take a high level of daily engagement in the space to know what the heck is going on, since things change so rapidly in the space. A lot of the top most successful NFTs have even gone as far as establishing a weekly meditation outlet to try and keep mental health top of mind. Kudos to Artifact Studios for being the first to do that after their Nike monolith quest started making people go borderline insane. And last thing worth noting about mental health, by the way, even though I mentioned floor price several times for each of the NFTs I have, that shouldn't be the end-all be-all for buying and selling NFTs, especially when you know you're holding something worth long-term value. But that's it. Those NFTs are the top 5 ones to watch out for that anyone can get into right now for anywhere from as little as $200 to up to maybe as much as $2,000. And just know that the NFT space is moving so quick that a lot of top ones that were created in late 2021 are now worth between $4,000 to $40,000. Many will fail, but some will shoot to over $360,000 and join Bored Ape Yacht Club due to them being the Tesla in their industry, way ahead of their time. But post in the comment section below which of the 5 NFTs you'd like me to do a deeper dive on in my next video. Last thing I'll leave you with is this. Once you've chosen a community, decide immediately whether you're in it for the long haul or just here to flip before you buy anything. You need to discover whether you have one of 2 different NFT buying personality types and 2 different mentality types. There's the Diamond Hands personality type, which is someone who has a high risk tolerance for high volatility stocks or assets that they own, meaning they never list the NFT for sale unless you are confident you want to leave that holder community. And you likely also may have a patient mentality, meaning you read the project's roadmap, hold on for dear life for whatever minimum time range the creators are aiming for, which often is 6 to 12 months at least, or 1 to 2 years. Or you may have the exact opposite, which is a flip mentality. People who go onto websites such as app.tradesniper.com are looking to pick off rarer, more unique NFTs than the first holder realized, probably, in an effort to quickly sell for a slightly higher amount. The traits behind the art matters a lot to people with a flip mentality, and they are routinely sniping rarer NFTs after the reveals. Think sneaker resellers. That's the genre, with a paper hands mentality, some might say, which is a personality type for investors who sometimes sell investments too early at the first sign of trouble, or they might be getting out at just the right time. But please understand that your profits can go down just as quickly as it goes up, and I am not a financial advisor nor an expert by any means, so understand that none of this is financial advice. I do my research on my own. I find my information online on my own. Please do your own research and decide on your own if it makes sense to invest into any cryptocurrencies that were mentioned, and the platforms and their exchanges and their protocols, or all those things, are at your risk if you choose to use them. I have plenty of biases, and I try to do my best to make that public, and I hope I did my best as transparent as possible, but please measure your risk and never invest more than you're willing to lose. Thank you for watching. I'm a content creator that entertains, and I'll see you in the next one.